Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel. Doing some ink swatching. We're swatching 3 inks today from the lovely people at the Desk Bandit. Oh, that's all stuck in the top there. Sometimes when you do an order with the Desk Bandit, they include some free mini samples. And so I was very luckily given free samples of Robert Oster Blood Moon, Teranishi, Salon de Violet, and Ferris Press Grand Central Skies, which is a shimmer. So they are what we're going to swatch today. And controversial, so when I did 30 inks 30 days, I used this size swatch and then gone back to normal swatching with the bigger one, but I think I prefer the smaller. So I'm going to give it a go using that slightly smaller one, but I will try and still write bigger. And we'll see how we go. Yeah, something about this size I think possibly looks better. So let's jump straight in. Robert Oster Blood Moon. I really don't know anything about these inks, so going in blind, I can see through the vial that it's a red. It looks like maybe it has some brown in it as well. I don't know if it's burgundy. I think it is still very much a red, but there is an undertone of something else in there. The only thing with these tiny, tiny vials is they are a bit too small for my little vial holder there, and it's sometimes, well, not sometimes, it's hard to get the dip pen in. But I reckon we will be able to sort it out. So first up, Robert Oster's Blood Moon. I think this is one of his new ones actually. Let's have a look and see. We've gone for a full circle. Ooh. I think for someone who doesn't often gravitate towards reds, I'm talking about myself, this is where I feel more comfortable around reds. I'm not sure in the phone if it's looking slightly more brown, but that is, I would call a darker red. It definitely has a warmth to it, but the warmth is coming for me more from a brown than like a pink or an orange even. So it makes it, I guess, it makes it darker than it does warmer, but really lovely. And I think as that pool in the middle dries, that's going to be really like nice and deep and velvety. Just looking at like the little speckling that it's done in the middle of the paper there. We'll see what that's like when it dries. I think I don't know if that's a sheen. It's always hard with Stalogy paper. There's some haloing, possibly a tiny bit of sheen of brown. So let's do a writing sample. See, this is what's hard. I want to go that far. Let's see, not spill it anywhere. I honestly don't know how I'm going to do this. Hopefully I have enough on here. Definitely dark enough. Oh, you can see I didn't get enough ink on, but let's see how light it does go. Okay, so even on the lighter end, it's still pretty legible. Gonna have to do a few dips here, guys, sorry. And getting some little bits of shading as well. Hopefully I just got a better amount of ink on here. It's the only thing with these tiny vials. Unless you have a hack, let me know. Robert Oster. And I still feel that my writing isn't as neat when I write bigger, but I will persevere. Oh, I really thought I could make it to the end. Has anyone else tried this, like this or any of other Robert Oster's newer inks? do you think of them? So not the most consistent of writing samples because I have had to re-dip a couple of times. But what that is showing us is, I guess, the lighter side of the ink and then the darker side. Really lovely. I wish, I mean, in some of the letters you're getting a little bit of shading there. I'll bring it up again. I'll try and do a better dip for the next one we do. But that's a really beautiful red. I'm trying to think, like compared to something like Oxblood. No, I would say Oxblood's redder. I'm not sure if I have anything in here that I can kind of compare it to. Yeah, that is Oxblood, which is definitely redder. You know what I don't think Purple Hippo, no. I was going to say even Chocolate Burgundy Notes, but that's going to be more purple. Yeah, I don't really have anything to compare that to, which is awesome. Finding like a really, like a new family of inks. All right. I really like how it's pulled in the middle of that swatch. Next up is a Teranishi ink, Salon de Violet. So I'm going to hazard a guess that it is going to be a purple. It looks really kind of dark in there, which I always love, like a purple grey maybe. Oh, it looks good in the vial. Keeping in true Sarah form, didn't think about spacing at all before starting this video. Let's have a look. Ooh, I love that. God, give me like a dark purple any day and you know I'm gonna like it. So it is actually not as grey as I thought it was gonna be, but straight away my eyes are just drawn to where it's pooling and it's getting darker, but almost like, is it bluer? Yeah, I thought it was gonna go lean grey, but I think it might actually be leaning blue in the middle there. But like really like juicy. It's almost like the skin of a plum. And then this purple out here is kind of like lighter and maybe a bit more of like a stock standard purple. But I think where it's interesting is as it pulls into these really deep dark bits there, some black haloing as well. Oh, that's gorgeous. That dark bit is such an amazing color. Pardon me. I'm going to try really hard to get a proper amount on the pen here, on the, you know what I'm trying to say, the nib, the dip pen. Okay, I'm back. To say I've been struggling to get ink onto this dip pen would be the understatement of the year. I actually don't even know how I've gone, so we'll see. Is it Terran or Teranishi? I can already tell I haven't got enough on. Teranishi. But look at the shading. Come on, at least let me get one whole thing. I need to find a better way. For those who have some of these like mini vials, what do? Do you put it into something else? Oh, I'm sorry. That's so frustrating. I'm sorry if this has turned out to be a really annoying video. Teranishi inks or inks. All right. I really want to try and get this in one go. And our next one is going to be shimmer. I don't know if that's going to make it easier or harder. So yes, I'm going over, but I think we can see the variations of the color there. So that was crazily painful, a lot more painful than it needed to be, but it has given time for that dark pool there to dry, and look how beautiful it looks. And it's not the best writing sample, but you can see hints of shading, which is going to look awesome when it's inked up. I have no doubt of that. And a really cool black halo around there. It's almost like thicker. It doesn't look like sheen line. You've got a good comparison of sheen next to it. But just this really, really dark purple. Rich is the word. Rich purple. Oh, that was painful. Time for a sip of tea. Before we jump to our last ink, remember I said that I thought maybe it was leaning grey in the vial, but then it looked like it was more leaning blue. I just cleaned off the vial so I got a bit of ink, and you can actually see in this kind of faux chromatography, purple in the middle, and then right on the edges there is some blue. So that is definitely what part of the undertone is in there, which is awesome. So last but not least, Ferris Wheel Press Grand Central Skies. And this is a shimmer, so it looks like a green ink with a silver shimmer. So just agitate that up. I mean, the green in the vial has quite a vibrancy to it. Ooh, bit of a bubble. All right, twirly, twirly. Oh, wow. So vibrant, but very translucent, transparent, pick your word. So this is really on the light side, this green. Interested, very interested to see how it writes with. And then I think because there's such a transparency to the ink, the shimmer, it's almost like a sparkle. That's an obvious thing to say, but it does remind me of a sky. Like sometimes, you know, when you see stars in the sky, but you don't fully see them, it just kind of for a glimpsing moment, like more of that twinkle. That's kind of the vibe it's giving me. Definitely a lot of shimmer in there. As always, interested to see how it writes and dries, but at the moment it doesn't feel overpowering. And I don't know if that is because of the lightness of the ink. I'd almost think it would have the opposite effect. Let's write with it. So I'm going to just write Ferris Wheel Press in the shorter way because it's been a very painful experience getting ink onto this. So super, super light. And I can feel like there is ink on there. It's not dry. Really, really light. But also this is a fine nib. So what does that look like in a really wet, juicy pen? Grand. It feels, on this nib at least, on the drier side, especially compared to those two. You can definitely feel like I'm hearing more of the paper or feeling more of the paper. I don't know if, it's got shimmer, so it's got like particulates in it, which I'm sure could affect that. Wow, it's very light, isn't it? Seeing as that the bulk of the writing I do is rephrase that. The bulk of the stuff I do with fountain pens is writing, not so much art. I find sometimes colours like this a bit hard, like writing in that, it just seems a bit impractical. But I've seen some incredible artwork that people do with fountain pen inks. I think definitely Claire scribbles with ink, and Karina Loves to Plan as well has done some awesome like flower series. Incredible. I could see this ink being a great choice in that because it's, look where it's pulled, you're getting a really nice green, and then it's, washes out to this, is it transparent or translucent? Not opaque, not saturated color, but for writing, yeah, not really something that I could see myself using. So those are the 3 little freebie samples that I got from the Desk Bandit. If you guys haven't checked out the Desk Bandit, you absolutely should. If you're in Oz, and they ship worldwide, so basically if you're anywhere, and they have a bunch of brands that, at least for me in Australia, I haven't been able to find anywhere else. And I don't know if they do this for overseas, but if you're in Australia, when you order with them, you get a Tim Tam. So, that's your choice made there. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will see you next time, probably for some more ink swatching. Bye.